Welcome to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. The first story is called Compliance Gone Wrong. This happened years ago when I used to work at an office as a front desk one summer during college. One day this lady came in to pay a fine. She was very rude and angry about her fine. I don't know the particulars because all I did was work at the front desk. She decided to try a little malicious compliance. Her fine was about $250 and she said she was going to be paying in quarters. I knew I had to comply since we are supposed to accept any legal tender. I took the bags from her but realized that she had unrolled every single wall of quarters. She said that since we want to waste her time with a stupid fine, she will also waste our time. I tried to beg her not to do this to me since I had nothing to do with her fine. She didn't care and said that we are all evil. She smirked and said, "One band, one sound." I realized then that there was no reasoning with her. I was furious, but I began counting one by one. We were interrupted by multiple phone calls and customers, so I had to restart a few times. She started to realize how long this would really take. She tried to stack the quarters to help me count faster, but I told her that it was my job. That I couldn't just take her word for it that the stacks were correct, so I had to do it one by one like she asked for. Two others came, paid and left while she was still standing there. She started getting mad, saying that I was wasting her time on purpose. I told her that we don't have a coin counter, so this is how long it would take. She threatened to call the police. I told her to go ahead and that I will have to restart when the police gets here so I can be sure to get an accurate count. After someone else came and left, she finally snapped. She whipped out her credit card and paid. As she was leaving, she snatched one of the bags from the counter, but the handle gave way, spilling all the coins all over the floor. She scooped up what she could, but left a good chunk. I told her she was littering, and she flipped me off. I got a broom and swept up the coins. There were about 192 quarters on the floor. When I was leaving work, I found some more in the parking lot. It wasn't a whole lot of money, but for a broke college student, it was great. The next story is called Bullying Boss. After 3 years of unemployment and the last 2 of them trying to qualify for better work, after I passed only theoretical exams but not the practical ones, I decided to take a break. I decided to clear my head before I try again. I was 1 month home, bored, and decided to take the first job I got from my unemployment services. I said from the beginning that I will try, that I am bored at home and that it is not my first choice of work area and I will stay only as long as I'm feeling okay. A month ago, I said I will start to search for something else, but I will stay at least until they find a replacement for me. Everything was okay, work was good, but around the same time our team leader started to bully me. You have to do this and that, you forgot this, you made a mistake and you have to cover it from your salary. You are not finished with your task in that 8-hour shift, you stay until you are finished, without pay. I had enough. I found something better and I gave them my notice. I tried to make it friendly, but my boss, who had no idea that I wanna go until he got my notice, said I can give notice only on Sunday and I have to stay 2 weeks after. Okay boss, I said I will do it. I worked that day and before my shift ended I started to complain about back pain and other stuff. After my shift was done, I didn't give a fuck about unfinished tasks. I said to the next shift that I'm sorry, I did my best, more I can't do and home I went. The next day I called my doctor. A wonderful one who always covered me when I told him I need a break from work, school, etc. He told me I need infusions for 3 days in a row, therapy, and for at least 10 days I am not allowed to work. I sent my boss all the details. Today my boss called, ready to end our contract early, because it is cheaper for him to end our contract than to pay me until the end of notice for my sick leave. I tried to tell you, but you didn't want to hear it. And if you try to force me to do something I don't want to do, well, it won't be cheap for you. The third story is called No Exposed Cables. I work in HVAC and we were doing some relatively minor ductwork on an old cigar factory building. An architectural firm had bought the building, which was already being used for office space. And being an architectural firm, they of course wanted to make some changes. The big change was cutting out a piece of the second floor above the downstairs lobby to make a more open, inviting space. This impacted the ductwork for the first floor, hence us being there to move it. Everything was going pretty smoothly for us, but there was a guy from the firm who was very hands-on with the subcontractors and very picky about exactly how things got done. One issue he had with our work was with a basic return air grate we put in. He didn't like the looks of it, so we swapped it with one he liked, no problem. Upstairs was the main office area, and he was obsessed with having nothing exposed. Power wires, thermostat wires, Ethernet, etc. The problem with that is, the buildings in the area are old mills and factories and are made of brick with huge timber beams supported by solid metal columns. The common way to deal with this is to run your wires as neatly as possible. Exposed. There were some interior sheetrock walls, so for the most part everything got rerouted through there to appease the no exposed wires rule. The issue? The building has forced hot water for heat on the office floor. And while we had the central main thermostat on an interior wall, there was a separate zone of baseboard along an outside wall with a zone head that needs to be wired to a thermostat to work automatically. He didn't want to see that wire. I explained the wire needs to be attached to work correctly and suggested rerunning the small brown wire along the corner of the brown wooden beam so as to be practically unnoticeable. Nope, no exposed wires. A little back and forth with the same answer. Okay, everything else is done, so I cut the wire, pulled it off the wall, and we are out of there. In the wintertime we get an extra cold week. The firm calls us. Hey, this area of our office is really cold. I go out, show them how to manually open the zone head so it heats when the main loop is heating. Things start to be warmer, but still cool enough for the heat to be on. Hey, this area is too hot. I go back over and show them again how to turn the zone off manually. Next year wintertime. Hey, this area is too cold. I go out and open zone head and tell the office manager that this will be the last time I will be doing this for free. Next time there will be a $100 service call to move the lever. The manager questions why we left it like that. So I get to explain that their guy, who didn't seem to be around anymore, instructed me to remove all exposed wires. So that's what we did. And I told him that we could put it back for X dollars if they wanted. Not sure what they ended up doing, but that was the last time I went over there. The last story is called Billed by the Hour. Years ago I worked in the head office of a national corporation. Although we were all salaried employees, everyone had to keep a weekly timesheet. We had to account for everything we worked on, so our department could bill the appropriate team or group for our time. This was a company-wide requirement, so it wasn't just a case of leaders micromanaging. The least amount of time you could log was a 15-minute increment. Every minute of every day couldn't be billed to other departments, so we had a code that was billed to our own team's budget. This was used for general tasks, not specifically attached to any ongoing projects, like checking emails, status meeting with your manager, training and development, and even filling in the timesheet. Management emphasized that we should use our team code as little as possible. I later learned that the less time billed to our team's code meant a bigger pool of bonus money for our whole team at the end of the year. One of the internal services that regularly billed our team's code was IT. Anytime we needed computer support, they'd send an agent who would troubleshoot and fix the problem. When the work was done, they'd get us to sign a work order so they could bill our team. No big deal. About a year after I joined the company, the IT department changed its billing protocols. While every other group in our company would bill you in 15-minute increments, IT decided that they'd bill in 1-hour increments. No idea how they sold that to the VPs, but no one objected. So if IT only took 15 minutes to solve my issue, they'd still bill my team's code for 1 hour. It didn't take long for my bosses to notice that our team's code was being billed a lot more than it had in the previous months. But no one connected the dots and tied it to the new IT billing practices. Here's how my next encounter with the on-site IT agent went. All done, please sign this invoice. This invoice is for 1 hour's work. You were only here 15 minutes. New policy, just sign it. I'm sorry, I can't do that. I don't have time to argue. We are really busy and I have to move on to the next ticket ASAP. Tell you what, I won't bill you for this visit. But next time you'll have to sign, regardless of how quickly we can solve your problem. This happened a few more times and I continued to object to any bill that didn't reflect the actual time spent on my issues. They kept agreeing to give me a free pass this time. After about the 4th or 5th time, the IT agent finally stood his ground. You have to sign this invoice. I'll gladly sign it in 45 minutes, once you've been here a full hour. Feel free to pull up a chair and sit down. He was clearly frustrated, but he was dedicated to call my bluff. He sat down. A minute later he pulled out his laptop and started working on something else. What are you doing? Getting caught up on a few things while I wait out the hour. Oh, no. This is my time. You are not allowed to work on anything else for anyone else. What do you expect me to do? Just sit here and do nothing? Yes, if you want me to sign that invoice, then you will sit here and do nothing until the hour is up. This guy was stubborn, so he did indeed sit there for the rest of my hour. I signed the invoice and he went on his way. I shared the story with my colleagues, and they all decided to do the same the next time they needed IT support. This went on for about a week, then IT changed their tune. They no longer asked anyone on my team to sign off on any invoice unless the job actually took 1 hour or longer. It turned out that they were generating so many billable hours doing this to every team across the company that dealing with our malicious compliance wasn't worth it. They chose to service our team for free rather than give up those other 45 minutes they could bill to 2 or 3 other departments at 1 hour each. That year, our team saw nice bonuses when we had a massive surplus of funds in the team's budget. I heard the IT team made out like bandits on their bonuses, while many other teams saw little to nothing. The next year, the whole internal billing system was overhauled. We didn't have to account for our time anymore, and IT stopped issuing anyone invoices. All billing was managed at a more senior level. And with that, we end today's video. Let me know what you think about the stories. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the stories and today's video? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. And I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.